Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Space Cowboy here. Welcome back in the early morning of day 2 of the 2022 NFL Draft, and I'm going to be reviewing the Dallas Cowboys selection for Tyler Smith, offensive tackle out of Tulsa. I'm going to give you my full-on thoughts and opinions on this. I did my initial reaction, and I'm not going to mince words. I'm pretty disappointed in the Dallas Cowboys, to say the least. Because I felt like they could have managed this better. There are many people like, oh, Taylor Swift was going to go in the first round. That is not true. That is not true. The only other team that was interested was the Green Bay Packers, but I don't think they would have gone guard. I think they already had their guys lined up. But the one thing I will say about the Dallas Cowboys is that if Tyler Smith is the guy they wanted, they got a very young prospect. He just turned 21. So if you really wanted a young guy to develop, he's the guy to do it. Okay? I had to remind myself, so I pulled up some notes, and I kind of had to pull up other scouting information from Tyler Smith. So if you're a fan of like the next gen stats, they did rate him pretty high. He's 6'5", 324. He was a sophomore. He had an okay combine. Let's take a look here. So here's the overview. His projection was round 2, but listen, it's the end of the first round. I'm not going to lose my shit. So this is what Lance Zierlein said. Power merchant who plays the game with a field demeanor that can work in his favor on one play and against him on the next snap. Smith is able to displace defenders as a run blocker despite lacking proper hand usage for leverage. He's explosive and athletic but struggles to sustain and finish what he starts. He's too quick to discard any semblance of technique in favor of bear hugging the opponent and drawing a penalty. I'm going to have a side note there that he was, I believe, the third most penalized offensive lineman in college football. A move from tackle to guard would allow teams to feature his downhill power in the rushing attack while reducing exposure in pass protection. The holes in his game can all be filled if he accepts coaching and brings it to the field on Sundays. There is some bust potential present, but the ceiling could draw a team to him on day 2 of the draft. So that's kind of how I felt about him. I felt like the guy, the guy's got a lot of potential. And I feel like you should not play him at tackle. You should play him at guard. And if that's the case, he's going to compete for that left guard spot. And you get Young there. You get a guy that I'm not super high on. However, he's going to have some growing pains. If the Cowboys can develop him properly, maybe he could turn into something. But I'm just disappointed. This was just a reach, and I'm worried they're going to do that with their next 2 picks. I think that you could see David Ojabo or Sam Williams go in day 2 at pick 56 because the Cowboys like to do this bullshit. But, I mean, I'm looking through the notes, and it's just like, you don't take a guy like this in round 1. And I'm not saying the grades are the end-all, be-all. I think that I'm going to tell you this. Is for this pick to be justified, he has to be like a Ronald Leary style type of guy. If he could be that, I'm satisfied with the selection. But this is just bad team building by the Cowboys. They easily had the worst pick in the entire draft. Of the division, by the way. I think, if you're Dallas, this guy is not a tackle. He's a guard. I think that people need to realize that. He is not a guard. If they play him at tackle, that's malpractice unless they train him up right. If you play this guy at tackle and he's a backup tackle, you have a serious fucking problem. No one looked happy when they made that selection. No one. I believe from what I understand, the Dallas Cowboys attempted to trade down, and they got no good offers, and they decided, you know what, fuck it, we'll just take him here. which is not what you do. There were so many other players on the board they could have taken. They could have taken Tyler Linderbaum. They could have taken Nakobe Dean or Devin Lloyd. They could have taken George Karlaftis. They had so many other players that could have been like, okay, these guys are studs that could start on your defense. But they went with need over best player available, and I feel like, this is something that the Cowboys seriously flopped on, unless, oh, by the way, yes, he's a guy that, I would say he's like a Trevor Penning, like, he's got that, like, he brings the nasty, like they say, because he got actually suspended for a fight. But I just think that this was a reach. I know, and they wanted to say they had him as the 16th best player on their board. That's bullshit. I had him, I don't go, like, through all the players, but I had Tyler Smith as, like, the 6th or 8th best tackle in this draft, and that's just me. But I'm trying. I can't put it lightly. This has been the worst free offseason for the Dallas Cowboys. This has been terrible. They reach in the draft. They don't do anything in free agency. Yes, they get a guy on the offensive line, but this is not it. This feels like I haven't felt like this since the Taco and LVE pick. But I wasn't mad. I'm just disappointed. The Cowboys have 2 more days to make up for this. I think the way you make up for this is you have to take the best player. Like, listen, if they double dip and they take a guard, or they, let's say they take Bernhard Ryman at that tackle, I'm not gonna be mad. I just gotta wait to see how this plays out. I'm gonna just. If we're talking about the player, I would say the player is a C- pick for what you have right now. However, if we're talking about the pick where you took him, I'm going to give it a D. I'm going to give it a D. The Cowboys could have traded down and still got this guy. And even if they didn't get him, there are plenty of other players on the board they should have taken. And, but they had Travis Frederick a few years ago. Stop trying to spin this bullshit. I'm sick and tired of Cowboys fans, content creators, and Twitter personalities lie to people. Stop fucking lying to people. If this guy ends up being a Pro Bowl, all you my words, I'll tell you guys I was wrong. I will easily, you know me, I'm easily to be like, hey, listen, I was wrong. I'll eat my crow. In a good way. I'm not upset with the kid. Listen, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for Tyler Smith for being selected. Congratulations to him. He's actually from Fort Worth, so it's glad to see a hometown kid play. I would assume for his favorite team, but I just don't like this pick, man. This pick does not sit well with me. It doesn't. It just doesn't sit well with me whatsoever. You can't convince me otherwise. So yeah, I'm gonna give the pick a C+, or excuse me, for the Cowboys management, a D. For the player itself, a C- at this particular spot. I don't know. We'll see what day 2 has in store. The Cowboys had to really make up for it. They got a lot of explaining to do. You cannot spin this as a good fucking thing. You can't. Stop lying to people. Alrighty, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and hit the sack. I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.